Hello and welcome. Hopefully you're having a wonderful 2025. One thing that I've been doing this year in 2025 has been playing Baldur's Gate 3. And I want to talk about it a little bit. It feels like one of these games that, really got a lot of people talking about it and still have people talking about it to this day. To me, it feels like it's already in the realm of a masterpiece. It's in the realm of being one of the best games of this decade coming out. And I feel like it's going to become one of these timeless games that everybody can enjoy at some point or another. So one thing that really makes me feel like this game is very timeless at times is I've been playing the game for over 450 hours at this point, over a quarter of that time trying to complete an honor mode playthrough, which means beating the game without dying, and I'm trying to do it without dying, without doing the Gale Act 2 ending. I want to get a true honor mode ending, and it's been a struggle. I've had one really close run where I died to the dragon in the third act. I can't remember his name all of a sudden. And I had another one end in Act 1, at the very end of Act 1 of the Grimforge. And one thing that I noticed is, every time I'm doing these runs, I'm learning something new pretty much every single time. Even though it's not just like, oh, I'm learning a character or learning a boss or learning this. I'm just learning new interactions or new things I didn't know. One of the things was that I didn't realize that there are chests on top of the castle area outside of the goblin camp, in the goblin camp area. You can jump on top of the buildings and you can find some chests up there. There was the waterfall. You can go under and climb up some rocks or outside the goblin camp. There are things I keep finding out day to day that are not just, hey, these are nice little things that you can find out. There are also things that are very, very beneficial for you, and you need to be keeping them in mind when you do your runs. It's something where I learn something new or play something different that I haven't done. I'm doing a paladin sorcerer, a Sorkadin, and at first I was like, we'll see how this goes, but now I'm all the way into Act 2, and boy, it looks like I'm going to be able to do a lot. And I think one of the things that is just, I don't know how to put it exactly, why, but it's wonderful to get these feelings of achievement in honor mode. Even though at any point I could die, lose it all, have to restart all over again, well, it's still fun, it's still exciting. But the feelings of going from act to act, from Act 1 to the mountain pass to the Act 2 to the Shadow Cursed Isles, and going to Baldur's Gate in Act 3, all feel amazing. They have these wonderful scenes that you get to go and just, you take in the scenery a lot, and even the characters a lot of time will comment on it. There are comments that happen all the time that make this such a fantastic game to go through again and again and again, getting different players and characters. I have Will with me on this run. That's something I haven't done before, though for the most part you kind of get to see what Will does. At the same time, you get to learn something new. I've been playing the game for a lot of hours at this point. It is technically the second most played on Steam, right under Terraria, basically. Terraria and the Tmod loader, but that's not really, we don't need to talk about that right now. What we do need to talk about is, what are these feelings of it being timeless? If you remember games well, you'll go through and you'll be like, okay, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? What do I need here? What do I need there? When going in with this hindsight, you get this different way and view that the game is. And not only that, I mean, I haven't even started on a Dirge playthrough, really. I have a few that have started. I do whenever I plan on doing this, I want to do an honor mode Dirge playthrough. If you don't know what a Dirge is, it's the Dark Urge. It is where you have a Dark Urge and you want to murder people. That's it. You just want to murder people, and you just either have to play as a good Dark Urge or an evil Dark Urge. And I don't know which one I'd want to do. I haven't done really any evil playthroughs, and so, I mean, I'd be interested to see what happens. If somebody's telling me to make bad choices, then I should take them. But What I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of things in this game that are making the game somewhat timeless. It has countless spells. They keep doing updates. Even though they say this is the last one, that's what Terraria said. And I purchased that back on August 8th, 2011. And they're still working on a Terraria patch. I'm not saying that I guarantee that this is going to have any sort of patches that add new things. But if this is how this game's looking, it just makes me feel like the next game will just be a whole nother level of Baldur's Gate. Well, not Baldur's Gate, but you know what I mean. The next Larian Studios game. But what makes this one feel like it's very timeless is that, to me, it feels like we're not going to have another Baldur's Gate game that is quite like this. It is going to be what I believe, and many others may believe, may be the pinnacle of what Baldur's Gate can bring to the industry. And that's okay, because what Larian delivered was something wonderful and amazing in a nice, neatly wrapped package that you can come back to multiple times years later and just enjoy the game. You don't need the internet, you don't need a season pass, you can come back and just enjoy the game. But there was another nice package that Larian delivered with, and from things that I've seen already, it seems like there are a lot of people working very hard behind the scenes. I'm talking about mods. The mods, there are already people modding the game at such extreme levels that we've barely even scratched the surface. If you look at something like Skyrim, things like Oblivion, things like Skyblivion, I mean, you see that project, and if it ever gets finished, it will be a fantastic achievement for, you know, the modding community scene as a whole. But Larian Studios, I feel like, from how people are modding that game insanely fast, there are people coming up with expansions already. Whether or not these are just like prototypes or things that they'll be working on for a good bit. There was a roguelike mod that got very popular. There's a bunch of mods that get very popular, and you really can find a lot of things that can readjust how you play the game. There are things that some items might not feel as interesting as you want them to be, and there's a lot of mods that add items to do such thing. Now, granted, I think making them more random makes them a little bit more exciting rather than, you know, just, hey, you can get it, or maybe just buy it. Because a lot of times there's a lot of moments in the game where you kind of can just be sitting on a mountain of gold and you don't know what to do with it. They are doing a fantastic job of giving you so many options to be able to play in these modded games as well, that you not only have the base game to just do everything and enjoy it, you also have everything else, and you have mods that also can adjust that playthrough. Won't add much in terms of like dialogue choices and storylines. I mean, I believe storylines will probably be somewhat bare bones. The amount of intricacies in the storyline that Larian was able to give was very in depth, and mods might not be able to do that as easily, but they're adding so many different ways to play the game, so many different ways to interact with the game, so many things to do already in a game that was a very solid build at the start, that's already getting modded expansions, is absolutely insane. I would say one of the most heavily modded games of all time would be Skyrim. I'm probably wrong on this, that's fine, but Skyrim is a game that I know that has been heavily modded, has tons of different mods that have, you know, people have jokes about it and talk about everything about the game, and that's something that's made the game relevant for so long because of the modding community. And Larian's just letting people go wild with it, and people are either very driven to do these things, or it's just Larian made a very, very good modding kit for the game so that people can actually mod the game into such an insane degree that we already have expansions, DLC style expansions for the game already. Well, not already, whether or not they're out, I'm not certain, but people are talking about them, and they're being discussed, that people are working on them. It's absolutely insane. And it's wonderful that a game like this will I'm so happy to be able to see and wonder what this game might be in 10 years, or whatever else Larian has cooked up in their whole store. You know, whatever they do next, you know, whether it be small or large, I hope it's just as much detail or just as exciting as Baldur's Gate 3 has been, because it feels like it's just a timeless game. I go through all of the junk in Act 1 to go to the mountain pass and always find myself sitting there just taking it all in, being like, you know, what if somebody made a mod where you could just look over there in the mountain pass and go over there. You know, one of the things that, you know, is something wild about the Elder Scrolls series is that the whole thing about you see that, you can go to it, it feels great. It does. It really does. And I believe that this is something that modders, whether or not they will do, is besides the point. It's that they're going to let you explore a world that somebody else helped them make. You get to see jolly cooperation and people creating worlds together and storylines and all this fantastic stuff. It's a wonderful thing that I think will make this game timeless for possibly a decade, if not more decades to come. Unless Larian comes out with something better, which is highly likely. But for now, I'm excited to play more Baldur's Gate, at least for a little while, until, well, you know, Monster Hunter Wilds. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you liked it. Let me know how you feel about, you know, Baldur's Gate 3. Whether or not you agree, disagree, like, dislike, things that you've done in your journey of Baldur's Gate that have been epic stories, because holy heck, I've had so many things happen to me in honor mode that you just have to live with the decisions, and it's really fun and exciting, you know. And this is just kind of, you know, just getting back in the swing of things, you know. This is something that I've been wanting to do, and I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate. I've been enjoying it a lot. It's just been the game for me right now. I've enjoyed every waking moment of it. I died on a run after playing for 20 hours and said, alright, I guess I'll just run it back. So I did, and got through a lot of the stuff I hadn't done in the past. So I've been enjoying Baldur's Gate. I'm kind of just, you know, just relaxing a bit until, you know, Monster Hunter Wilds comes out. I'm trying to plan on figuring out how I want to record things, do things, stream things, do things, you know, all the other stuff that I'm always trying to figure out, but I'll figure that out with time. I'll keep you guys updated if I figure out anything that I want to do. Work schedule is getting weird and strange, but also it seems like it's been going super well. So hopefully you're all having a wonderful new year. Hopefully you had wonderful holidays, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. Thank you. Have a good one.